All right, guys, here we go. In this video, real quickly, we're going to go over how you can just start out with a small account. Okay, a lot of people don't have 50,000 or even 25,000 to get into these markets and start uh, even trying to learn the game, because you're going to spend a little money on education. Okay, so just be prepared for that. But all seriousness, even if one had 25,000, 50,000, or more, I would still tell them to start with a smaller account, because more likely, until you get your mental discipline down, you're probably going to run through that account. Okay. And when you're starting out, if you'll just learn or know, uh, 1 to 3 setups, high probability, high odds, formation setups on the charts, know where your 20 and 200 are, and a few things like that. You should be able to, start off, with, I don't know, just really small losses, and then work that up to, most times breaking even, and then start making money. That's really the process. I'm just, here to tell you, you'll start losing money at first, unless you're just kind of, you know, lucky or blessed in that area, get, right place, right time type deal, and then start progressing from there. But most people start out you know losing more than they're making, and then they're in that break even stage, and then they progress from break even to pulling more out of the market than the market's taken from them. And for example, this little setup here, this is Apple in the 2 minute chart, and you had this little breakout candle here that closed over the 20, and there we were in a sideways consolidation zone. And normally, you look for that fifth candle to break out. And as you can see, here's the one, uh, two. Let me get that arrow out of the way. You already know that's the start candle, but one, two, three, four, five. See, and then after a big candle, even on the daily chart, weekly chart, monthly, it doesn't matter. Um, a lot of times you'll pull back 2 or 3 candles into that candle, and then take off again. So, but right now we're trading in the upper range, yet again, sideways consolidation on apples. So we'll sit here and, yak for a while. Now, if we come down, let me show you I already have it mentally, but let me show you physically here. If we come down and close under that red dash line, that's our stop loss. We'll get out there. Or if we go by past one, two, three, four, um, we go past that fifth candle, we'll get out, and then we'll go from there. But anyway, it's hard for me to talk while concentrating on this. So I might just say, okay, we got some green over here. Let's get the heck out. But anyway, yeah, you're with a small account. Reason why I like working with people with small accounts, because that's where I start out, and I know for a fact, because I've seen it with my own eyes. People even in my family that have started out with small accounts, that have grown those to unbelievable, huge, multi generational wealth. Counts. So I know it can happen. I've witnesses. I had done it myself. But anyway, as we roll through here, we'll, try not to be distracted by this. But anyway, the first thing with a small account, of course, with a bigger account, just like in business, most businesses go out of business because of lack of funding. Okay, because a business, let's say you're starting out with 10,000, they're starting out with 100,000, and you're making widgets. Well, they can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to get out on this candle here. Okay, 220, 300. We're out. come on, come on. Okay, so we're out. See, it haven't happened again here. But anyway, now I can concentrate on talking to you. Okay. But and then we'll probably top out up here, that high pivot. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, because a business that has more capital can buy the materials for making the widgets. They can buy more materials. They can get a little bit of a discount as opposed, someone starting out with a tenth of the money or whatever, half the money or whatever. And then also, they can advertise more, so on and so forth. And so that, makes it easier. But in this business, I think it's better to start off with a smaller account. And the only thing you're doing is, adding a zero to it. Okay. And hopefully the zeros are going in the right direction, as far as gains and not losses. But uh, truly, in all seriousness, I would say now there's three primary stop losses, and I'm going to give you one of them. The others are for our Patreon members, but is simply a dollar amount. Okay. Now back here, I did just a physical, location, but the first one, and it could or could not be, the most important, but um, it's sometimes the hardest to do. Now, let's say you landed on $80. Okay, I'm not going to lose more than $80. Okay, now what happens? Because we've all been through this. Okay, your account starts getting down, and this is just hypothetical, not financial advice, whatever. Starts getting down to I'm losing $75. I'm losing 76, 77. Anyway, your finger needs to be on the mouse, getting ready to click and get out of there at that point in time. But it hits 80, and people go, and I've done it myself, so I know this way it works. It's like you got in, up here in this range, and then this red candle comes in. Let me take all that off so you can see. Okay, that red candle comes in and takes you out. Okay, and you're down, the $80, all right, or maybe even a little more. And you go, well, 80. Let's go ahead and go to 100. I know, when it comes to that 20, it's going to catch, or if it comes down here to this pivot or reverse, it's going to, reverse. Your mind plays all kinds of tricks on you, and so next thing you know, instead of being 80 or 100. And then next thing you know, that big red candle always comes in, and you go, well, the 50-day moving average is down here. It'll stop on it. And then guess what? It doesn't. So you're down, 120, 100. Next thing you know, you're, a couple to a few hundred down, and then you freeze. You're like a deer in the headlights. I mean, you're down that much. You're devastated. You're mentally wiped out, and you don't know whether to just go ahead and get out or to just keep holding and hoping and praying and wishing and whatever that the market is going to reverse. So you're stuck in that downdraft, and once your headspace is out of whack, and it's hard to make decisions. I mean, have you ever, as an officer, have you ever made a strong, quality, good financial decision under severe mental stress? Okay, no, you haven't. Like if you're driving in, DFW traffic, and don't try to, even if you're a passenger in the car, don't try to day trade. You know, being in that, that's probably a bad analogy, but no great decision came out of a stressful, you know, uh, you know, not having a clear mind and trying to make that decision, if that makes sense. So I'll say this to get back to this point. If you have before you even get into a trade, okay, now you notice I was able to name this, I was able to identify this. I just didn't say, oh, well, I think I'll just get in here. Hell no. You got to identify it. If you can't name it, if you can't identify, if you don't know what that breakout is or breakdown, if you're going to go short, why are you even looking at it? That's like a brain surgeon going into your brain and going, well, I'm not really sure what this is, but it looks like a good place to start sawing off or whatever. So, that's what a lot of people do. They just go on a feeling. feelings aren't going to make you money in the markets. 'Cause it's hard enough as it is. You need to have odds and probability in your favor, okay? And you got to use every freaking trick in the book because you got to think like a criminal, and and have two or more things in your favor. You have two or more things in your favor, then you have an 83 to 87% probability of it working out. Now, let's say I went long. Well, first of all, let me go back here. I get distracted. Okay, 80 bucks. Okay, before that trade's even put on, 80 bucks. Like right now, if you're going to go short, right here on this candle that just turned green. Okay, so you're going to go short, and I'm hoping it will reverse just to prove my point here. But anyway, um, as soon as you get to see, you already have that in mind. You already know that. Okay, so you're not going to be your headspace is not going to be messed up. If it starts reversing, then you don't know what to do. It's kind of like being a pilot and you start having problems with your engine on the plane, single prop plane, and you don't have a checklist, you don't have anything to go through to keep your mind still, even though you're going to be a little emotional no matter what. And same with it, you're going to be emotional because you're dealing with your money here, okay? So, anyway, I say all this, it helps psychologically to have a number, and you have to have the mental discipline, okay? The mental discipline to stick with that, okay? I'm 75 down, I'm 80 down. Let's get the frick out because your first loss is always going to be your smallest loss, okay? Right here, if you went long over here on this green candle for whatever reason, uh, and this one came in, then you would be out. Like right now, this one, well, let's say, yeah, you were already 80 down. Now, yeah, you could get out right now, and guess what? You could have the biggest red candle in the world, like right here, come in. So what? Just follow up on it. Yeah, you might, uh, miss 80 bucks, but you're going to make 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, a lot more 80s on, in the, when things turn around, you catch it, okay? Also, if you can name it and identify it and make it happen on that candle, then if it does not work out, like instead of having this big green candle here, it went to the downside. Um, we lost, that 80 bucks, whatever. I guarantee you, by doing that, you're not going to lose every single time because by being able to identify it, like I was saying earlier, it's going to increase your odds of probability so much higher. It's unbelievable. And then let's see right here, if we gotten whipsawed out, of course, we need confirmation. We need this current red candle if you're looking for more downside to close under all this up here and then get back in. And then it'll probably go down to this consolidation zone here, or maybe even the 20 as the 20 is coming back up. But anyway, um, yeah, and that's what I'm trying. I don't know if I mentioned that, but let's say uh, you're trying to look for more upside on that green candle there, okay? Just hypothetical. And it did what it did now. Well, get out because the market will change. You'll be wrong real quickly. Let's see, if I was short, like I was telling you, I'd be out right about that. But anyway, um, the market will change real quick, okay? Let's say you had a green candle and you're looking for more upside. And then the next candle, of course, lo and behold, uh, drops under it. Well, it'll happen pretty quick. If you can identify it, if everything is set up, you did everything right, your checklist is checked off, and that means that the market, all that is negated. All that doesn't matter anymore. Just like the weather, the market's, Mother Nature, market's always right. But anyway, you get this big down candle when you're thinking you're going to be going up, it'll happen real quick. It'll happen like the next candle or the next, okay? And if it happens up here, well, then you need to be moving your stop loss up. And that's obvious, but I know I got to say that for some people. But anyway, I hope that kind of helps. And I don't think what else. Yeah, with those small accounts, you can make it happen. It's going to take more time. It's probably going to take more self discipline. And you need also, you're going to be worried about, losing money and losing a lot of that count because you don't have a lot to lose, if that makes sense. Okay, if you got X number of dollars, well, every little loss, every little, you know, back step, you need to keep that to a minimum. Of course, obviously. So it's going to be, very important that, when you come in and you see something, a potential trade uh, going through here, like if we come down and hit this uptrend line, and well, there's a couple of caveats to that, and that, might potentially be a good trade. So you got to wait again until you can, identify it, name it, know potentially what it's going to do and why it's going to do it. Okay. And then, so you got to have a little study behind, a little education behind you, in order to make that happen. And what I'm getting at, right when it starts coming down there, for example, I would know I'm going to have to identify what it is as it pops off of here, and I already have my stop loss. Either the $80, and then we got a couple other uh, guaranteed ways of doing it that we have on our Patreon side. But anyway, you know, pull off, have all that set up, you know, if not on a list in your mind, probably better to even have it on a list. And you don't have to know, 1,000 different uh, candle, what am I thinking? Candle close type stuff. Like, man, okay, I'm giving this. I'm not going to give the store away. I'll give a little bit away. A lot of times you'll have this two green candles closing up and over, not well, two green candles closing up into a big red candle. Okay. Now the lower in the range, I said this is getting a little out of hand here, but anyway, the lower in the like right now uh, in this lower range, if they stay in this lower range, closing in this lower range, higher the odds, higher probability the next candle will be a red candle to the downside. Now we're getting a little out of sync here, so that play might be off. But see, at least and you can name it, call it, identify it. You know what I'm saying? And then as soon as that next candle, like if we close within this, let me pull this up so you can actually see. So yeah, 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 that's what I'm talking about. Close within this green candle range here. We're out. I got 30 seconds, so I'll ramble here for 30 seconds, but it looks like it's not going to do it. But anyway, see, instead of pressing it, going, well, that's a two up, one down, and then going short now, well, that might not, work out. You got to wait until it confirms, or if you see it. Let me see if I see another one. Well, here's a two up inside that red candle. See, just like we're talking about, then boom, boom, quick, day trade there. You know what I'm saying? And let me see if I see something else. And then this big wick here, sell off wick. We're on a time count. Number one, number two is sell off here. See, that's probably not going to work out. Might come back up here and roll over. But anyway, see, that should tell you that big wick there going, okay, hey, something's getting ready to happen. Heads up, heads up. Boom, right there. And then short down to the 20. You always want to get out on the 20. So, that's a pretty good little move. But anyway, here we go. Let's see. Yeah, looks like they're going to retry that. But anyway, I'm not going to, have you sit here and watch, paint dry. But the main purpose is that you can, yeah, build a good account out of a small account. So don't be, hesitant or whatever, getting in and learning because you're not going to be like if you have $1,000, you're not going to put the whole $1,000 in on a potential, uh, short position up here. Hey, we think it's going to roll over. You're not going to put, you're going to put, 10% of that, 15%, whatever your, uh, what am I thinking, risk management is. What, your financial situation better than anyone. And that $1,000 might be just some mad money, folding money you pulled out of your wallet. Okay. That's a lot different than somebody that's, I had to work a part-time job, a few weeks because I've been there, haven't because I didn't want to take it out of the family budget, so work part-time gigs in order to build that account back up again. You don't want to piss it away. on an emotional, stupid decision, just on a feeling. I think it's going to roll over right here, so I'm going to put all 1,000 in it. Well, guess what? It never works out. Okay, and so anyway, yeah, just because well, if you're going in, 50, 75 bucks, whatever, and seeing what you're calling, what you're doing is working, then you can gradually build up to maybe, yeah, okay, instead of 5%, I want to go in 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever, if that makes sense. All right, guys, hang in there. Have a great 2023. Any questions or whatever, hit us up on Twitter, give us a follow, and we will see you on the charts.